Well, guys, welcome to the show. I'm joined with Jesse and JT of the band Erra. Welcome to the well, I already said welcome to the show. There you go. I already messed it up.
Hi. What's up? Did you say error?
Erra?
Say Erra.
Erra.
Yeah.
Erra.
It depends where you. Sometimes people call us Erra.
Yeah, because I'm in the South, so that could just. Be
I don't know
dialect.
if I correct them or not. I just say, whatever.
Hello. Good to be here.
Wait,
Thanks
you're in
for
the
having us.
Yes.
South? Where in the South are you?
I'm in North Florida.
Okay, cool, nice.
I know the band is located, or originally was located in Alabama, but you don't.
Yeah.
Do you reside in Alabama, JT?
I'm from Maryland, but I moved to Alabama.
Okay, so is like the band all living in Alabama currently?
No.
No, I live in Los Angeles. I lived in Nashville previously, and then Connor, the bass player, lives in Pennsylvania, like between Philadelphia and Baltimore, Maryland.
Interesting. So you're scattered all over.
Yeah, me, the drummer, or the drummer, and I, and our other guitar player Sean, we're still in Alabama. I moved down here just for a change of pace. I'm ready to leave though.
Lockdown's wearing on you, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I don't know if they're following in your rules down there in Alabama, but
Barely.
Yeah, we're living that same kind of situation here in Florida. But so how does
we've
that?
Seen it.
Yeah, we're on the news a lot. How does living apart? Like, how long have you guys been doing that for? Like, and how does that affect, you guys focusing as a band?
I don't think we've done anything since Jesse's lived in LA except the studio, right? When did you move?
We met up to do the videos back in May as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect things too much living apart. I mean, we can do everything on our computers and send ideas back and forth and whatnot.
Yeah. If anything, everybody will fly here where we keep the van, and we'll practice in my house like a week before and then head out. So we'll fly like 2 or 3 people in. So if you think about cost of flights, just something to always keep in mind. But we're honestly at a level where it doesn't really matter. We can kind of count on our members to pull their weight when it comes to preparing for the tour. We don't have to worry about it too much.
Nice. What prompted the move to LA, Jesse?
I was just bored in Nashville. I lived in Nashville for a couple years, and I was living alone, and pandemic hit, and it was cool because I got really good at being alone, but also lonely. So I moved out here to move in with some of my friends who are also involved in music. Like I live with a couple of guys from some other bands. I just want to be in a creative environment. Everyone kind of does the same thing, and we kind of collaborate, and I wanted to sort of learn things from other people who are more adept at things like recording. And living in this house is the reason why I'm doing this right now on a nice microphone and not on a
iPhone microphone.
Fucking iPhone microphone. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do anything on my own otherwise.
So it sounds like you're in one of those creative kind of houses where
I knew that was coming.
where everyone gets together and just kind of
I mean, in a way, kind of.
Have you seen that show Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
That's what the house is like, but for musicians.
Interesting.
Everyone is doing things. Everyone is productive, but also it's dudes in a house. So
nice. So do you guys have? I'm assuming you have an in-house studio somewhere in there.
Everyone has their personal setup in their room, and then a couple of the guys actually have a studio that they rent out in Van Nuys that they have bands and stuff record at.
Cool.
But I am not exactly a part of that because I'm not really adept at recording things.
That was my next.
I'm learning,
question, yes.
but yeah, I'm certainly an amateur when it comes to home recording.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's why you kind of went out there as well. like, I didn't know if you were into mixing, mastering, or recording or anything like that, but
not really.
It helps. It allows us, allows Jesse to be, giving us like when we're preparing for a record, he can provide like really high quality pre-production demos and stuff.
Yeah, that's been way convenient. It makes writing easier too. It's quicker to lay down ideas and whatnot.
That's cool. Speaking of ideas and whatnot, you guys have an album coming out, which is self-titled, on March. What was it? 19th again? 17th?
19th.
Yep.
And this is your first or your fifth album, but your first on the new label.
Yes. Very excited.
Nice. What made you guys kind of decide to go with that particular label? Because they're like an international label, obviously, and they're based out of Australia. So I was curious as to what led to that decision to, go with them.
Yeah, if they had been exclusively international, it wouldn't have been as as hot of a sell. However, over the last few years, they've expanded. So there's the Unified in Australia, which is what most people are familiar with, but there's also the US and the UK now. So we actually have like sort of three main hubs. And that was that was one of the big reasons. That's one of the big allure, that's like the big allure with Unified is, more international coverage. We have the US coverage. We also have the UK and Australia.
Like global reach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And those are kind of the other two, like, bigger markets beyond the US. So that was a big part of it. And we also we'd had a previous relationship with our current A&R. She used to work for the label that JT's old band Texas in July was on, and I was familiar with her because she was a fan of my side project band called Ghost Alice. And we already knew that she kind of ruled, so there was already a bit of a comfortability there, and all of our team was familiar with it. It just made sense, Yeah. It just felt like a cozy fit, and it's been great so far.
Awesome. Well, so what prompted the departure from Sumerian? Were you guys did you guys complete your contract, or?
Nothing. There's no compelling backstory to that, to be honest with you. It's just like, we fulfilled our contract, and then we just weighed options and chose another one. It was that simple. We have no beef with Sumerian at all. Like, those dudes are still, still homies, still friends with all those guys.
Awesome.
And gals.
Awesome. Did you guys have your record already kind of written and everything before your departure, or was that something you guys did in the meantime between leaving and signing to a new label?
Yeah, it was during the in-between time. Yeah.
Awesome.
David, do you have the same Warby Parker glasses as me? I think you do. I think you have the the tortoise variant, though.
I do.
Yeah. Sick choice, bro. I was looking at Jesse taking off his, and I was like, wait a second, those are the same as mine. Actually, all of ours are kind of the same. It's
right. Mine are definitely from Warby Parker as well. Good eye.
Yeah,
Good
me
eye,
too.
JT.
Mine are the cheap tortoise.
I think
men of taste.
I think the Warby Parkers are also cheap, technically.
Yeah, in the scheme of things, yeah.
These are Zenny. That's the as cheap as you can possibly go.
Zenny.
These frames are like $15.
I got robbed then.
Now that you bring it up, I just realized that we all have glasses. That may be a podcast first. I'd have to double check, but
guys and glasses. Glasses, guys.
So what can the fans expect from the new album? I've heard it a couple times, so I know what they can expect. But for those who are dying to hear it, and I'm other than listening to the singles that have been released, what can they expect? What's different from this one from Neon?
A lot. I think the biggest thing to note on, aside from the actual music change, is like the preparation and environment that went into this record. Neon was kind of all over the place as far as I had to track 7 songs off Neon in my drummer's bedroom in a vocal booth that I made. due to like me getting kind of sick and time constraints. I had terrible writer's block with Neon. And also through Neon, Jesse and I kind of figured out like what the best approach and methods are for us to work together to be like combined forces. And we really honed in on that on the self-titled. And I think we figured out like a good, I don't want to say routine, but like method to get the best result out of everything. So that was really nice. Just like kind of like gaining our workflow. It took a while.
Cool.
Because Jesse and I are very different when it comes to creative things. Like he has his taste, I have mine. But we've become really good at finding a middle ground and make everybody happy, and also like just creating the best result for the song.
Yeah,
so that's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. Like all the sort of external stuff, like environment and just like where everyone was at in life and stuff, I think made this process just way more fun and easy. It was still work, like, but yeah, it just didn't feel like heavy. There was no like real pressure involved with it. Like it was just like, it kind of felt like the way it's supposed to be. Like we kind of like honed in something fresh, or we tapped into something that we hadn't, I don't know, something that we hadn't tapped into in a while. You know what I mean? That like the early stages of like being in a band and writing music when there's no expectation or pressure and you're just doing it for fun, like writing a song. Like maybe we kind of came back to that somehow. There were like the right things lined up to where that was the priority again.
It clicked.
Awesome. How long was the writing process for the record?
It depends on I mean, I've always got some ideas going. Like, there are riffs on this record that I wrote like the beginning of 2018, but I think like the main bulk of what's on the record now happened over the course of like 5 months. Just like summer 2019 leading into March 2020 when we tracked it.
You went pretty hard in the summer with demos. We were well prepared.
So yeah. You say you tracked it in March of last year?
Yes.
Was that before all the hoopla started with the COVID, or was that like right after everything started?
Actually, kind of interesting tidbit, because the day we finished, they shut the studio down.
Oh, that interesting.
Yeah, so we finished right on time. It was March 15th, so literally the date of the state of emergency was our last day in the studio. So none of the record is written with any of the last year taken into consideration, which is something that makes me kind of stoked, because there's a lot of like subject matter that kind of feels pretty like relevant to what's been happening, but
that wasn't even intentional. Well, I mean, some of it was, but like it just kind of happened.
I mean, we certainly didn't write any songs about a pandemic. Like, we didn't. That. Like, we're not that
on the nose
psychic, but just like just kind of like all the neurotic behavior that was already happening that has just been like amplified since the pandemic happened. Just kind of honing in on that, and like I don't know, just like Divisionary is a song about cell phones and social media and being distracted and being the paradox of like being connected by this tool of connection, which is paradoxically isolating. And then political stuff, like subtly political, not really, just like how like House of Glass is about like, social and political polarity, which I don't necessarily want to get into as I bring it up.
We like to address certain subjects, but leave them vague for interpretation. Yeah.
At this point, like I'm not like, I think it's pretty clear where we stand on things if you're paying attention. But I don't know. It's just a tired subject. Like it's one I don't usually want to hear about lately. So
No, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine with. I'm sure a lot of people don't want to hear about it. So I don't. But but yeah, I was curious as to like because you guys, both are the people who lend their vocals to the band. Do you guys collaborate on lyrics and like when you're writing, Jesse? How much of the guitar writing goes in? How much of the guitar writing do you write with your lyrics in mind, or is it vice versa?
I know where I stand on that, but I'm actually have no idea where you stand on that.
They're not really like the guitar is definitely never shaped by anything lyrically or vocally for me. Like guitar would always come first, but the lyrics are usually written based on the way the guitar sounds. Yeah, like JT, we kind of talked about this the other day, didn't we? Where the hell did we talk about this? In the studio. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've always just written to an instrumental. I let the instrumental kind of dictate the tonality of the lyrical content. I like whatever I'm writing or trying to write for the song. I try to complement the instrumental. I don't like because it feels more cohesive when the vocals lyrically and the patterns, the heaviness or the lack of heaviness goes with the actual instrumental. Sometimes I'll have like themes and like a set of like lyrics and ideas written out prior, but like I usually try to get inspired by the music. So I usually have to wait quite a while. I'll like come in with like a list of topics I'm going to cover, but 9 times out of 10.
A good indication of the songs kind of dictating the lyrics and the titles is when we released the track listing for the new record. Fans of ours were like kind of like it was pretty fun to read this, but they were like guessing what each song was going to sound like based off the song title.
Yeah,
and they were like pretty much spot on because like the heavy songs have heavy sounding names, and like the songs that end up being like really ethereal and spacey sounding will have like trippy kind of like really trippy lyrics, like lyrics about space or like psychedelics or something. And they were kind of hitting the nail on the head. Like Scorpion Hymn is a heavy song on the record, and the title kind of suggests as much. And then there's songs like called Lunar Halo or Electric Twilight, and those are kind of more the ethereal, spacey songs. And so the instrumentals totally dictate the way the lyrics play out, and kind of never the other way around, for us anyways.
Will you ever have like a bank of melodies that you try to use later, or do those melodies come up because of instrumentals you write?
It happens sometimes. Like there'll be sometimes where I'll be like, a dooba-da-day, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's really sick, and I'll get my
right.
Like, a dooba-da-day, and then I have to just listen back to it like 6 months later and be like, what the fuck were you doing? And then try to put a dooba-da-dee into the key in the context of another song. That's happened before. I can't think of a specific song I've done that, but it does happen, but it's rare. Usually the instrumental dictates kind of everything else.
And I'm sure someone is wondering where a dooba-da-dee is in your 5 records of releases. So I'm sure one of the fans will love digging that up. By the way,
there it is.
JT, great interview question.
What?
Great interview
Did I ask
question.
one?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Me and JT are just going to interview each other. And,
no, by all means. It makes my job just that much easier. You know what I mean?
It's sometimes we like, I know I like lock into an interview. Like I know like things like the right, not like, I don't want to say the right thing to say, but like there's like a certain way you can speak to engage more information or a specific type of information, like how you ask a question versus what the question is.
Dude,
right.
You're subverting this whole thing. All right.
This is mine now.
By all means, we can switch it up. We've done like 40, this is 46, I think. This is the 46th episode, so we can switch it up a little bit, And again, we've gone like far enough into it and talked enough about the new album, I'm sure.
Yeah. we're done here.
So you guys didn't get to do anything fun, with the new record. Did you guys delay it longer because of the pandemic? Just kept continuing? Yeah. Okay. So like, in the time frame since the pandemic started, since, you already had one in the can, have you guys done anything as far as like writing as a band or tossing ideas around for anything within this time frame? Because, I know you're holding on to that record, but
we have done some things, but
we can't say anything else.
Can't talk about it yet. Yeah, but
it's really cool.
But yes, we have made use of the time off to do more stuff. That's unfortunately all that you get.
No problem. And for what it's worth, when you mentioned Lunar Halo, that was one of the songs that I remember from listening to the album previously this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a cool one to check out for those who are interested in the new album or who are not familiar with the band. That's one you should probably check out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my favorite song because I'm just trying to like push this song as hard as possible because it's not a single, and
I'm gonna do the same, and I know which one.
I feel that it should have been, but the song "Vanish Canvas" is my favorite song, and I feel like the soul of the record is in that song. If the record has a soul, it's that track. But Lunar Halo is weirdly kind of my other favorite. I don't think it's gonna be like. I feel like it's one of the more challenging songs. So for that reason alone, I don't know if it'll be like a general favorite as far as like the wider scale of the audience. But
it's a very ambitious song.
I like that it leads directly into Vanish Canvas as well. Like those two songs aren't necessarily related, but the way they kind of like tie in on the record feels really smooth. But anywho.
JT, you were in Texas in July, back in the old golden days of
the golden years.
Not to chastise you out of the conversation, Jesse. You're fair to join in. But JT, what are some things that you've noticed over the course of, because we just both referred to it as the golden era of metalcore. What are some of the things you've noticed in the long tenure that it's had thus far?
What else have what? I'm sorry.
What have you noticed since, the golden days of metalcore up until the changes of till now?
Not a whole lot has changed. I would say this. I hate this term, but like we're even kind of this band, like the progressive gent metalcore wave. You have bands like us, Northlane, Animate. Everybody's trying to do their own variation of like progressive melodic metalcore. I feel like we have our own like kind of trademarks. You're more like riffy, alternate picking, like 2010 inspired metalcore still exists in bands like August Burns Red and Darkest Hour. But we're trying to do a lot more than I feel like what Texas in July was and what early Erra was too. There's just more variety on the table. And that's kind of the fun thing about the self-title, that has like the entire skill set that we have acquired and try to develop over the years. And like, we've opened that toolbox and just try to use every single tool that we have to, no pun intended, to kind of display like our electronic press kit of riffs and vocals and whatnot.
I don't think about those things like the golden age of metalcore and how it shapes into.
Why did you refer to it as the golden age of metalcore?
I was just kidding.
Okay.
It's more like the glory days, like, in your youth when you feel like you're young and invincible.
We'll say that you were referring to it on the personal level as the golden days then.
No, well, it was just so special to me.
It was a wild time, to be honest.
I knew nothing. I still sometimes feel like I know nothing, but
I mean, like in regards to that part of the timeline, like Kill Switch Engage, End of Heartache, As Daylight Dies era, and like As Lay Dying and stuff. Like
All That Remains.
I mean, Fall of Ideals, which is actually, in my opinion, the best record from that era of like old school metalcore.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, they weren't my favorite band during that time overall, but that record specifically is fucked good, still good.
Nice.
That is the era that I was most enthusiastic about playing metal guitar. If it wasn't there, I don't know what I would be playing. Cause I also like loved Seosin, Circus Revive when I was in high school. And I think those kind of bands had more of a lasting effect on me. And Deftones, of course.
I feel like
we're all big Misery Signal fans too.
Yeah. But because I play guitar and because I hadn't fully gotten into singing yet, like, and because I was really into technical guitar specifically, like that kind of stuff, like Kill Switch Engage, As Lay Dying, All That Remains, like that stuff was really fun to me because it was just fun to play. It was the most challenging thing. And I think it totally shaped the start of Erra and Misery Signals too, for sure. Between the Buried and Me, like just because those bands were just playing technical and that was just so much more fun for my fingers to be moving around.
They were the
golden age of metalcore.
All those bands you named are awesome bands, even the ones that aren't metalcore.
What's funny is in 2014, Erra and Texas in July actually toured together. That's how we met.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, like, did you guys know each other prior to you joining the band, or was it like
briefly?
Did you have to try out kind of situation, or were you homies and it just was a fit? But
I got that lucky phone call.
Yeah, we were Texas in July was headlining. Erra was on that tour for 1 week, and we dropped off to go like record music or something. Just some shit that would never happen now. Like it's weird to even describe that. Like who does that? Who's like, I'm gonna come on the tour for a week, then we're gonna record.
And we
just get another band.
Yeah. I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. If it does happen, it's just like not as cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like talking about it. It's like that is some shit that just we would not do now. You just would say no to one of the things. But yeah, that's how I met JT, and he came into the band. Like Texas in July, like was breaking up while he was joining our band, so it worked out perfectly. Like they were like on Texas in July's last tour, JT had recorded vocals for Drift 2 months prior to that, and he wasn't announced yet, but at that point, yeah, he was in the band.
Yeah, I think like four months after we had like collectively decided that we were going to make the breakup, I got the call. So there was like almost no downtime, which was really nice for me.
You know, what's funny is on Texas in July's farewell tour.
Oh yeah,
I
forgot about that.
Erra was on tour, and it was our vocals at the time, Ian's last tour with us, and we were in Toronto at the same time that Texas in July was in Toronto on their farewell tours. So like after our show, we just like Ubered over to the Texas in July show and like watched JT play and like hung out with JT. And at that point, he was already in our band and had recorded the record, but no one knew. No one knew that he was in the band yet.
So you're just like winking at each other.
Yeah, something like that.
People that were at that show asked us about it. Like they were kind of, well.
God, that had to have been weird. That had to have been weird. We put
the feelers out, but that was pretty much it. It was pretty on the down low.
Yeah.
So how weird was it though, hanging out at the show, knowing that he's your new vocalist, but no one else knows? It must be like, you know, a guy cheating on his wife and his mistress coming to his work or something.
No, it wasn't like that. No. That's a funny comparison.
Yes, it was. It was exactly like that.
Just very awkward.
I was excited. Exactly, I mean, I was sad Texas was breaking up, but you know, the pastures were still green.
Yeah, when we were stoked, we were like, thank God this band's breaking up.
Get some of this limelight here, you know?
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I lucked out for sure.
Well,
yeah, it was kind of good timing all around.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Except for Texas in July. Bad time for those guys, but good time for
we have to ask. We have to ask the basic question. Is there any kind of outlook for Texas in July to get back together or make like a play a show or something?
We were supposed to do. Are you familiar with the ABR like Christmas festival thing they do for Lancaster?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to do one of those. The first time we got offered, Adam, the drummer, got in a motorcycle accident and he had to like recover. He's fine now. And then the second time, COVID. Mm. So I would. Half the band guys have their own thing going on, but the other half, like, they would totally. I don't know if they would do a full tour, but they would probably play a show, if not like do some sort of like nostalgic reunion thing. That's pretty much it, though.
No, like new music type of thing.
I would do it. I don't know how. Actually, that's never even been brought up with either parties. I don't know how Erra would feel about that. I don't know how Unify would feel. Like, I would be down. I like recording and making music. I don't want to step on any toes, though.
Well, we're not trying to blow the spot up right now either. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Erra wouldn't care. I mean, just because like
it's two different entities.
I don't have a lot of confidence that Texas in July would be like getting back together in full swing.
No, like, and I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not like I'm gonna break. It's not like I'm gonna quit Erra to revitalize Texas in July. No offense.
Because I'm not worried about that. I wouldn't care. Also, like, Chris from Texas in July, the guitar player, and doesn't Chris write a lot of music?
Now he does.
Like the main guy in Texas.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's in the Ghost Inside, and he has like a wife and 2 kids and stuff. And everyone's just kind of got their own thing going on. But luckily here in Erra, we ain't got shit going on. So.
So how's it been? I mean, because it sounds like you guys are only in Erra. Is that correct? You guys don't have any side kind of gigs as far as like for monetary reasons?
Yeah, I do a band called Ghost Dallas. That's it.
Okay. I mean, I was talking about like jobs. Like, do you work outside of Erra or anything like that, or do you kind of have the luxury of just being in a band?
I work at a bar and I do some occasional Twitch streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I just started offering vocal lessons just to kind of fill the gaps. Just trying to stay busy and financially afloat.
I hear that.
Yeah. I don't work. I was like pretty determined like 8 years ago to like figure out a second thing to do to where I didn't have to do that. Which was my side project. That was the side job. Yeah, so I just keep that going. Just like, I mean, if you do go that road and you do just stop working, whatever normal job, you figure it out, because the alternative to not figuring it out is not having money and not having a place to live or eat. So like, it's a pretty good incentive to like getting serious is to quitting your job. I mean, my Brian Hood, who we recorded our first 2 records with, always said that. He was just like, at some point you just got to do it. Like you got to have a year where you may make 10K that year, but like you have to just dedicate all your time to this thing. I agree with that. And I think you see this pattern in pretty much every band. I don't know how many bands are talking about it, but you'll see this pattern in every band where there is like a couple of guys in the band that aren't like doing side jobs, and there's a couple of guys in the band that are. It's just like you just can't rely solely on the band for income, for your sole income. And most bands are like that. Like at least in our world, just like the middle tier metal kind of bands like of our size, like it's not enough to just only do the band, especially when touring's not around. If touring is around, if it's a really good year, you can maybe scrape by, but ultimately you have time to do other things. So
Andy Glass, that's like a reference. Andy Glass from We Came as Romans is a graphic designer. It's actually really smart to get like a side hustle within the universe. It just makes it easier. I actually forgot to mention that I do photography and video as well. So I actually did promos recently for a band out of Mississippi. Stuff like that.
So you could, in theory, quit your job. JT, talking to you. And you could just like take wedding photos all the time.
This is an intervention, David.
Or you could just fucking totally get locked into the Twitch thing or like. There is a way.
Yeah,
there is a way.
I do have to side with.
We've had this.
With Jesse.
Him and I have had this conversation so many times.
I will say this though.
He's right. He is right.
But to your side, JT, working in a bar, are you a bartender?
I'm a bar back. I was
gonna say because in the tips probably.
I don't have any patience for people right now.
No, I understand. Well, patience for people in general.
Yeah.
Is kind of tough sometimes. So, but I was going to say, like, if you're making like, because bartenders usually make hundreds of dollars per night. So that would be difficult to walk away from, but it also is
right.
Like, a tougher lifestyle because it is later nights and, but
the flexibility of your schedule is what's really the only allure to industry life. I do love the bar and I love my coworkers. It's just like the actual job and the guests and just, I'm not like a bar guy. Like I'm so much of a homebody. Like I have no interest in just like, I see the same fucking people every time I work and I'm just over it,
Oh, of course. Yeah. When you work at a bar or if you go to a bar and see the same people all the time.
God.
It gets depressing. Yeah. I mean, not to hurt anyone's feelings out there, but.
Yeah. I mean, you like what you like. It's just not really for me. Bar life isn't really my life.
Yeah. I have a buddy who I'm trying to talk into doing stuff for himself rather than working at a job because he hates his job and he's hated his job for years. And I used to work with him at that job like years and years and years ago. So I've been trying to lure him like Jesse's trying to been luring you. So what do you stream on Twitch?
Well, Twitch is funny because I got on Twitch because I thought you had to be like a gamer, but that was like so wrong. Any musician on there, like most of the viewership you get, if it's music centric, it's like 3 times as many. And I've realized that like I have Tuesdays I usually do music centric and Thursdays I do like kind of just chatting or gaming centric. And the numbers don't lie. Like the numbers definitely are much higher when it's like vocals or just like Erra banter or whatever. And I realize that a lot of times they don't really give a shit if you're like the best Warzone or Apex or, Dark Souls player. They just want to hang out and they want to like build the community with you and be your friend and like talk shit and crack jokes,
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, because again, like it gives them a different angle into your life outside of just the band, like makes you a regular human rather than just some guy on the stage.
That's the part I do like. I don't like feeling this. I don't put myself on a pedestal. I don't like when people put me on a pedestal. I'm very like, at here with people. I don't like to be condescending. I don't think highly. I think highly of myself, but I don't think higher of me than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like right. I'll always give people the time of day.
Well, being the guitar player or the singer, usually you do get that little bit of extra limelight.
Yeah.
So it's tough to not be put on a pedestal for
for sure.
Because I think about that sometimes too. Because like in noise, I've interviewed enough of people in bands that I'm like, well, everyone's just a person, and I should know that going into it in general. Yeah. But I've also sat across from people that I've followed for 20 years, and I'm like, there's still a fucking allure to it. You know what I mean? Like
it's inevitable. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I kind of like dealt with that whenever we tracked Neon with Bo Rochelle. He plays guitar in Seosin, which is a big influence on me. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a good position to be in when you can ride that balance and you can associate them with the influence they've had on you and feel like really stoked to know them, but also if you don't humanize them, you're going to scare them off kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people don't want to be
around a fanboy.
conceptual. I read this somewhere. I forget what it was, but it was like when we conceptualize people, we dehumanize them. I think that was Eckhart Tolle, but yeah, it's so true. Like, unless it's like a guy who's not a normal guy and he's an egomaniac, they're not going to be stoked when you're just like, if a person can tell that you're looking at them in this way of a concept, like your hero, like it just creates an insane amount of pressure, you know?
Yes.
So it's kind of an irony, you know, like I remember, like, you know, you'd always hear about like guys being assholes in bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you wonder how often it's just that. It's just that awkwardness in between.
Yeah. I feel like it's a lot of times it's just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there are some guys who are assholes, right? But I do think a lot of guys are just like, they just struggle with, they just struggle with being perceived in too high of a regard, you know? I don't know. Yeah, that
neat,
but
neat. I love that word. I use that word all the time.
No, that's cool. I mean, it is like that, you know, and people can be perceived as kind of dicks, obviously, for having to deal with those awkward situations night after night after night after night, multiple times a night. And then, you know, how many life stories can you hear in a night, you know, on a tour or something like that? And no offense to anyone telling one, but, you know, because that's like, that might be the one person's one shot to connect with you on a human level, you know. But yeah, you've heard of many of those.
I don't even know if I could. Like when you say like a life story, it's like it's so.
Or not a life story, like your guitar playing did this for me, blah 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 blah.
Well, see that can be great. Like it's so subjective to just the person who's sitting across from you. It's so nuanced. Like you could take that same line of dialogue and it could be, like I discussed a second ago, like it could inflict a lot of pressure and make me feel, like I'm not being viewed as an equal, which makes me uncomfortable. But at the same time, that same line of dialogue, I think probably more than not is totally appropriate. That's probably not really what I'm talking about. Like when people are just like, I love what you do, it's great. That's usually totally fine. Things that are dehumanizing is like someone asking you for a photo and then saying, let me get one more. And then like, will you send this video to my friend of you like singing this lyric? And like, let me get one with sunglasses on. Let me get one with a hat on. It's like, dude, like there's like 10 other people waiting to chat with us right now. Like myself and everyone behind you are not the center of your universe kind of thing. It's just, you know, a lack of self-awareness. As long as there's self-awareness, it's all good. There is no question or compliment that's like out of bounds or inappropriate or, well, you know, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, we like people. But part of why this, not to like harp on the pandemic because it's fucking boring conversation at this point, but the reason why it's kind of like sucked to roll out new songs and be home, it's like on one hand it's great because the songs are doing well, like our streaming numbers are great and all that stuff, but like it's like a day of excitement and the day after the song is out, it's like I fucking moved on because we can't like go talk to people. Like we can't put the song out and then play it and then see the physical reaction to the song. Like our only means of knowing how the reaction is going is looking at some numbers on our phones. It's like I'm not trying to be like fucking cheesy about it, but it's just true. It's just so much cooler when you can go and talk to people about the song at the merch table and watch them move around and crowd surf and shit. It's just like, maybe this is maybe everything I'm saying is fucking obvious as shit, but maybe it goes without saying. But yeah, it's just not that. It's just I don't want to feel like I'm complaining about putting out music either. It's just like it's just not the fucking same. Like, this isn't.
Well, it is not the same. Obviously, it's not.
Half our job, you know. The other half of our job we haven't done in a year and a half.
Yeah.
I was really proud of the way my life from one day to the next looked in 2019. And I think something that a lot of musicians are feeling right now that I've certainly been feeling is just like, not proud of what I'm doing day to day, like just like being at home all the time, you know, and yeah, just kind of it, you know, we're all in this together is the thing. That's like the one thing that makes it, you know, easy enough to get through and to keep moving forward is just knowing like a lot of other dudes are thinking how I'm thinking. But yeah, man, it's just you know, I don't know, man. I'm stoked the record's coming out. I'm stoked people are gonna hear it, but I really wish I could physically see what they're feeling about it, because Instagram DMs and shit, it's not the same.
Right. You need the actual reality of it. But do you guys have anything in the like on the books for like any kind of like, you know, in-person physical on location like shows in the next, you know, year? Do you have anything kind of like, because I kind of hear every now and then that we may not see anything till 2022.
I mean, it's
hard to say.
It's probably like barely even worth touching on too much, because like who knows. I would love, obviously we all would love to get back as soon as possible. I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to come back this year.
We're supposed to do Furnace Fest in September. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I got rescheduled to September.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fingers crossed on that.
Are you going to go?
I would love to. Yeah, I planned on it. I planned on it.
Not too far.
Yeah, if we, I mean, as soon as we're allowed to do it, we're going to do it. You know, like as soon as like, you know, it's not safe. As soon as it's no longer considered an unethical act to play a show, then we're going to be back to playing shows. But until that happens, I'll be here in my room,
same,
doing whatever the hell it is I do in here. You know.
Maybe you should pick up Twitch, you know, live stream.
Probably should. I mean, thought about it many times. It's just
there's so many musicians doing it.
You are asked about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's just something I mean, the reality of it is like, I could give you plenty of excuses that like, I believe in 1 minute and the next minute, maybe I don't, but I could definitely offer you excuses as to why I haven't been doing it. But if I was being honest with myself, it's probably just because it's something new that I've never tried. And naturally those things sound intimidating. And it's an example of me not taking my own advice and jumping into something new. So maybe I'll get down to it. You know, I'll also think about like time consumption, like, and like how much brain energy I put into something, you know, cause I do need to be like writing music and here, see what I'm doing? Making excuses. It's already started. It's so hard, you know, it's so hard to turn that off, but yeah, I caught it. Step 1.
There you go. Step 2 is, you know, getting rid of it.
Getting a Twitch.
Yeah. So if Erra wasn't around, what would you guys be doing?
Something comp sci, something with technology. I'd probably try to co-work for like a Fortune 500 tech company, like Amazon or Google. Doing what specifically? I don't know. Not coding. I would like to be part of like a, I don't know. I love technology. Like I'm a huge nerd. I love mobile phones, TVs. I mean, cameras, like you name it. I'd love to be connected with like the progressive nature of technology. I think it's such a nice and valuable tool. I mean, nerds absolutely rule the world. So something like that. I think that'd be fun.
JT is actually very proficient with those kind of things as well. We kind of fucked up his whole life, asked him to join our band. He had so much promise and like a sparkle in his eyes, and
I don't know about that.
Look at him now.
No hair. Guy got grays in the beard.
If Erra exploded into oblivion, I would just write songs somewhere else. I'm not good at anything else.
I was gonna say, like, what do you guys like to do outside of music? Is it nerdy coding kind of thing?
More nerdy shit.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. I don't want to be a code monkey. no knocking that. Like, I just don't have the patience. I am very tedious, but I don't have the patience to write thousands of lines of code. I probably will have to learn a coding language eventually if I want to stay, educated and connected. But that shit changes just as fast as music, if not faster.
Yeah, for sure. I gave up at HTML.
HTML?
Yeah, because it started changing.
The good old days, dude.
Yeah, for sure. It started changing.
You don't have to now. You got like fucking sandboxes that do it all for you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's super easy to kind of make websites for the most part. But yeah, it started changing to like CSS and PHP, and I was like, nope. I'm
Python, done. Ruby, fucking. There's so many now.
Yeah, I tapped out long ago. But I do like the graphic. I stuck with the graphic design stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I've.
A creative or media job. I don't know. Probably a bunch of things, honestly. Something like that.
Things for fun that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, hobbies.
I read a lot. What
are you reading now?
I'm reading this book called Legends of the Fall.
You could have just said Legends of the Fall.
So what?
He wanted to make sure we were talking about books.
That's
maybe
famous
you ought to
one.
kiss my grits. Well, I knew of Legend of the Fall because of the Brad Pitt movie, but then I found out about Jim Harrison and developed an interest. So this is kind of my starting point. It's a really short book, reading is a good hobby for a musician because, especially if you write the lyrics, like it makes writing lyrics so much smoother. Like there's like so much more like inspiration to draw from when you're just like reading a ton of words every day. Then it's like beautifully written and whatnot. So that's like I like reading because it's one hobby that I can do that I don't feel bad about. You know what I mean? Like if I spend a lot of time playing video games or like watching too much TV, like that'll make me fucking feel bad, kind of. Like
I feel the same way. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but reading is cool because I can spend an equivalent amount of hours just sitting around reading, and I don't feel like it's a waste of time.
Do you do it daily?
So it's nice. Yeah.
You read daily?
Yes.
Nice. I wish I could set aside. I tried to for like an hour.
I thought you were gonna say I wish I could read.
I wish I could, man. No, but I wish I could set aside time daily to do so. I last year I stepped up my game. I only started reading a couple of years ago. Not reading in general, but I started to like read books more frequently because I went most of my life without reading anything other than what was scrolling on the internet or anything like that. So I started going like, I'm going to start reading books. So last year I was able to reach my goal of 12 books for the year. So I
nice.
I did a book a month, and this year we're reading. This year I started this little like. I have friends that live throughout the country that I grew up with that are really close to me, and we decided to make like a book club, so to speak, so we could like hang out with each other. More so. So we're reading The Dark Tower by Stephen King right now.
Oh, sick!
Nice. I'm actually reading 11/22/63 right now as well.
Oh, cool. I have that book. I haven't read it, but that's on there. I can't just read all these Stephen King books, though. That's the thing. Like he's got so many, and I've read like 3 already, and they're taking over. I'm in the middle of the Witcher series too, but
yeah,
I got so much shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you read for an hour every day for a year, you'd read way more than 12 books. I guarantee you that.
Oh, for sure. But again,
it adds up fast.
That just takes a look at
how fast are you guys reading? Damn.
Not fast, JT. That's for sure. I'm not fast.
That's faster than me.
I'm one of those guys that like has to.
I gotta look all these words up before I can turn the page.
Yeah. Well, if you read on an iPad, you can do that.
Really?
That's like one of the good things about it is it like the dictionary part of it. Like I didn't go to college, and sometimes I feel like reading has given me in my education. Like if I read a word I don't know, I look it up, but I also write it down. I have like a giant note in my phone of just words that I didn't know until I wrote them down. And yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of nice. And I see the word again later, and I'm like, hey, I know that one now.
Yeah.
And what was a recent word?
I don't remember. I have to refer to the list. But I did a podcast earlier today, and it was actually a book podcast with a guy named Nick Scandy, who actually used to write for Lambgoat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he
really?
Does a podcast called Books of Some Substance, and we talked about
that's
Cormac
cool.
McCarthy book. And,
we'll have to link.
We actually
we'll have
had
to
this
look
conversation, but he used the word obsequious, and I was like, damn.
I don't even know what that means.
I didn't either. I'd heard it, I read it, but I didn't remember what it was. I was like, damn, Mr. Scholar Boy, huh?
JT's looking
talking smart towards me.
Obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. I don't even know what servile means.
Dude, if
like servitile?
If I
okay.
If
We're
I
getting
was
so
like,
much more lyrical content as we talk right now.
That's a good one.
So many more words to add to the lyrics.
If only I was as like I'm very list oriented, and like I like budget like my time. Like I read a lot of books last year because I like in my notes, like I was read 35 pages at least every single day, and then that'll equal over 1,000 pages a month. So if I'm reading like 350 pages a month, and that's like 3 books that I can read per month. So I was just like figuring out like how much I needed to average a day in order to kind of stay on top of it. So
that is quite a lot. How many did you read last year? How many books did you read last year? How many pages, I should say?
I don't know how many pages. Like I know how many books I read, but
you should get on Goodreads.
I don't know how many pages.
If you get on Goodreads and you click the books that you read, it'll count the pages for you. So you've I did like 4,000 or something like that. You probably like way surpassed me.
Is that like
some of them were pretty fucking long? But if only I like had that kind of discipline towards like getting in shape or something, you know. If I was calculating, you know what I mean? Like if I had the same patience with like counting calories and things like that, like how much more productive.
Well, Jesse, you don't look overweight.
My physical life would be.
You don't look that overweight, so
you're still a hot boy.
Whatever.
Well, guys,
I believe you.
It's about that time. Do you guys want to end off on a more positive note than Jesse's body dysmorphia?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the album comes out in March. You'll have plenty of time to listen to it before you see us, unfortunately. We worked really hard on this though. Like we're very, very proud of all the work and the universe that we try to create in addition to the music with lit visuals and merch and everything. We just paid a lot of attention to what we were doing, and I hope people notice, and I hope people enjoy the music that goes along with it. It's gonna be a fun time. It's a nice new chapter in our lives, you know.
You reminded me that we did not talk about the new record much.
No, we definitely did in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, this is my favorite record that we've done. I like it. Listen to Vanish Canvas.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Well, guys, when can the fan base know about the information that you cannot speak of yet? Is there a timeline on that?
No, we don't even know, honestly.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And also, it would be very erroneous of us to even guess one.
Yeah.
Because all that ever happens then is people will be like, "You said July and it's August."
We're always wrong. Actually, that was a running joke for Neon on Reddit about the February release. We became like now this February and it's like July or whatever.
Yeah, it's better to just not talk about anything ever. The fact that we're talking right now is a mistake, and I already regret this conversation, David.
Well, that's fine. 59 minutes in, that's a good time to start.
A perfect example is the Zelda creator came on to the like Nintendo keynote like last week just to say they had nothing for Zelda.
Oh, I saw that. That was funny.
Nice.
Like, why?
That's the way to do it right there.
It's probably like
a legend.
It's probably like a They're probably trolling. But all right, guys. Jesse, JT, thank you for joining me. Hopefully, everything goes back to normal and we can kind of do this again sometime in person. That'd be great.
Where in Florida are you from?
Jacksonville.
That's what I thought. Cool.
Sweet. Yeah, it was fun, man.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
No problem, man. You'll have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, Jesse. Bye, David.
Bye.